Big Red and the Little Bitty Wolf, a story about bullying, by Jeannie Franz Ransom, illustrated by Jennifer Zevon. There was only one path that led from where Little Bitty Wolf lived to where he went to school at Pine Cone Elementary, and that was a problem. Over the summer, Big Red Riding Hood had moved in with her grandmother. Big Red just wasn't big, she was mean, and now she took the same path through the woods to get to school. Before Big Red moved in, Little Bitty loved to go to school. He loved the soft pat, pat, pat sound his paws made on the path. He loved the feel of the wind tickling his whiskers as it rustled the leaves. And he really, really loved his yellow lunch basket, always packed with his favorite foods. Big Red loved nothing more than teasing, taunting, and terrorizing Little Bitty. Sometimes she jumped out from behind a tree. Sometimes she struck out her big foot and tripped him. Sometimes Big Red snuck up behind Little Bitty and pulled his tail. Little Bitty tried not to whine. He tried not to whimper. He tried not to talk to Big Red at all. Nothing seemed to help. Little Bitty asked his parents what to do. "Just tell her to stop," Mom told him. "Tell her you don't like it when she teases you." "Stop it," Little Bitty said when Big Red kept throwing acorns at him. "I don't like that." Big Red laughed. "But I do," Big Red said, and she picked up a big acorn and hit him in the nose. "Puff yourself up so you look better," Dad told him. So the next time Big Red pulled his tail, Little Bitty puffed himself up as big as he could. But Big Red just laughed. "I'm not scared of a little bitty wolf," she smirked. Little Bitty didn't know what to do, and then one morning a shadow fell across the path. Little Bitty looked up. It was Big Red. "Where do you think you're going?" Big Red asked. Little Bitty tried to run by Big Red, but she blocked his way. Not so fast. Big Red grabbed the basket right out of his paws and skipped away. "A tisket, a tasket, I've got a brand new basket." Little Bitty was so sad. What would he eat for lunch? What would his parents say when he didn't bring his basket home? Would they make him take his food in a brown bark bag? When Little Bitty got to school, his teacher, Miss Doe, asked what was wrong. Little Bitty didn't want to tell her. Big Red was looking right at him. Miss Doe sent him to talk to the school counselor, Mr. Know-it-owl. Little Bitty Wolf told him about Big Red. "It sounds like quite a problem," Mr. Know-it-owl said. "What have you tried to fix it?" "I asked Big Red to stop bothering me, just like my mom said," Little Bitty told the counselor. "And I puffed myself up to look better, just like my dad told me," said Little Bitty. "But Big Red just laughed at me. And now she has my lunch basket, and I don't know what to do." He wiped his eyes with his tail. "Seems to me you need to do something Big Red doesn't expect you to do," Mr. Know-it-owl said. "Like this." Mr. Know-it-owl's head spun all the way around. Little Bitty smiled. "My, what a nice smile you have," Mr. Know-it-owl told him. "I never noticed it before. You should smile more often." Little Bitty decided he would do just that. On the way home from school, when Big Red jumped out from behind a tree, Little Bitty didn't whimper. He didn't whine. He just smiled. "Are you smiling at me?" Big Red asked. "What's going on?" Little Bitty just kept smiling. He was so nervous. It was all he could do to keep his palms planted in one place. "What's so funny?" Big Red asked, taking a step back. "Stop looking at me like that! What are you going to do? Bite me?" Little Bitty Wolf laughed. What a silly thing to say. Biting was for babies. "You can have your dumb old basket back," Big Red said. "I didn't want it anyway." She tossed the basket on the ground. Little Bitty smiled even bigger. Mr. Know-it-owl was right. Doing something Big Red didn't expect had worked. Maybe he'd never smiled at her before. He had a feeling Big Red didn't get many smiles. He'd make sure she got plenty now. Little Bitty trotted off toward home with his ears up and his tail high, feeling a little bit bigger and a whole lot better. Thanks for reading with me. Subscribe for more.